Good afternoon. Welcome to the first DuPont cast that I've ever been stuck doing, coming live from my dad's favorite place in the world, the gateway of St. Petersburg. Doesn't even make sense because it feels like Tampa, but anyway, home of DuPont Registry Tampa Bay. We are so excited today. We just opened a box this morning. We've been left home alone without our editor or our publisher. So it's just me and the kids here. This is our brand new issue. We only have our copies right now, but your copy's coming soon. It's all the home design issue, great houses, real estate, decorating tips, and of course, events that we love in the Tampa Bay area. So I am so pleased to be able to introduce you to my dear friends, Nate and Kelly Freeman. We have worked together. Full disclosure, I am on the board of the Dysautonomia Project, of which Nate is the current president and Kelly is the founding director. She's also the co-author of the book, The Dysautonomia Project. And I think the best thing about this is I know how to say dysautonomia, so that beats most people you talk to at first, right?
Exactly. Yeah. We feel like people, once they first hear this word, the idea is that you just can pronounce the word. And it usually takes 4 or 5 times to pronounce dysautonomia.
And I love then people say, did you mean dystonia? And I'm like, no, another bad thing. But it's actually called dysautonomia. And I can tell you from the years long ago when Kelly was very sick, people would say, what does it mean? And I would say, it means you're so sick you can't get out of bed and your kid's noise makes you more sick and the doctors don't know what's wrong with you. And there's not, for many patients, a rhyme or reason. It just starts, or it's something they've had with various symptoms, which Kelly will explain to you, and none of them add up. So for me personally, it was my concern for Kelly and her family, having grown up in Clearwater together, that she was so sick and that we were so determined to figure out what we could do to help. So Kelly, why don't you just start with the basics of the dysfunction of your autonomic nervous system?
Yeah, so dysautonomia is really an umbrella term used to describe any disorder of the autonomic nervous system. And it can range from mild to really severe. And there are different levels of functioning. So in some cases, there is a true dysfunction of the autonomic nervous system. And in some cases, there is a failure or a complete collapse of the nervous system. And so based on that really depends on the prognosis for the patient. The most common form of dysautonomia is POTS, postular orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, which means that when you stand upright, there is an abnormal increase in heart rate that is the characteristic of that particular condition. We estimate that 1 in 100 teens has POTS, and we believe that this is perhaps one of the most commonly misdiagnosed and underdiagnosed condition of our day.
Kelly, tell people who are listening, watching, oh God, too many people. There better be a lot of you, actually. What would you look for as symptoms, or what symptoms would some patients have that could easily be dismissed as something else? I think we have a top 7-ish list.
Yeah, so some of the common symptoms are fatigue, brain fog, lightheadedness, migraine headache, abdominal pain, nausea. But one of the top 7 symptoms that is really unusual is difficulty standing still. And this is really kind of like the hallmark of any autonomic disorder, because in autonomic dysfunction or failure, you're dealing with the inability of the body to maintain homeostasis. And so when the body cannot handle itself in an upright posture, you have difficulty standing still. And this is something that can be easily measured by a physician or nurse practitioner just by doing a simple set of orthostatic vitals in the office.
So as we initially went down this path, how many years ago?
I was
when were you first sick?
I was first sick in 2011. And then in 2014, we started the Dysautonomia Project together.
Yeah, I didn't have gray or blonde hair when we started, but we got it down to science now, literally. So the big problem is that you have these symptoms and you have these doctors, nurses, therapists, counselors, people who discount it as depression, which is really bad enough as it is, but it's not being treated properly in that sense. and that no one knows about it. So let's share what we found as a group we needed to do so that people would know.
Yes, so one of the biggest challenges for patients is that they know that something is wrong, and their doctor's saying to them, okay, well, go see a counselor, go take Xanax, go, do these things, have a healthy diet, do exercise, and you're having difficulty getting up out of bed in the morning. For instance, when I get up out of bed in the morning, even today, even though I'm much more functional, my heart rate will go from 65 beats a minute lying down to 140 standing up first thing in the morning. It's very difficult to manage that and learn how to function differently. And so one of the things that we realized is that the number one form of treatment is education. And so that's why we wrote the book, and why we are doing so much to educate nurses and physicians and families and patients. And that's really been what we have felt is the most important need at this juncture. And that's one of the reasons why we've recently partnered with the American Autonomic Society to help us expand that reach.
So in a second, Nate's going to share with us about the American Autonomic Society, but I wanted to add about writing a book. Writing a book is certainly hard enough to do, or seems so, something I always say I might do, but too overwhelming. Writing it when you can't sit up, when you can't read what you've written, when you lose days at a time of being able to function, and also when you're working with people in the medical field who don't have the same schedule. Something that Kelly accomplished really in a very timely manner, all things considered, and has become this incredible resource. So what I love being able to tell people about the book is one page is for the doctor, the other page is for the patient, and together someone can really figure out or help their doctor figure out what's going on. And too many times, my success rate is really high, so stay away, because too many times I hear someone have a weird symptom and I give them the book and they're diagnosed. But the book... It's a little frightening, but it helps, and the book is there as a resource. Right. So when we realized that this was not being currently taught, and not taught by the same name in medical school, Kelly partnered up with some incredibly bright doctors, and they were able to get this information all compiled in a book. So it's available on Amazon. We also, if you'll look on the website, which we'll continue to give you at the end of the DuPont cast, you can see how certain times of year we give away free to doctors and other referrals. So our information is very accessible. But Nate, let's share with our viewers about AAS and about Khan Academy. And he's the tech guy that gets things put together for us.
Well, thank you, Molly. It's an honor to have you host this show with us, and understand that we have an opportunity to really get the word out about what's going on. And we were at a American Autonomic Society conference 2 years ago, and imagine a conference full of scientists and physicians that meet from around the world. This one was at Clearwater Beach, and we happened to be introduced to a doctor that would give us the ability to make significant progress with family members and with friends. And so we started investing more into this conference and into the society to make connections. And this year we are embarking on really the biggest thing that we've done is that we're going to form education, which is what our mission is, to educate healthcare providers, physicians, and patients in the community. We want to be able to provide that great education around the world. And to do that, we want the best people to be speaking, and that would be the physicians and researchers at the American Autonomic Society. So we formed a partnership that will be doing studio sessions, 15 to 20 minute videos with 20 different physicians that will be at the conference coming November 6th in Clearwater Beach again. They love Clearwater Beach, so they keep coming back. Who could blame them?
So do we, right, exactly. That's why we're here.
And so we've established a great filming crew, and with anchor Al Rochelle, we'll be doing recordings and interviews of these physicians and trying to boil the information down to 15 minutes of information that a primary care physician would need to know to be able to diagnose and treat someone like Kelly if they see them in the office.
This is such a big improvement, just the concept of having such readily accessible information. And we've spent a lot of our time when we developed this board doing everything at 6:15. So on June 15th, we had an event. We have a newsletter called 6:15, and we generally start most of our events at 6:15. And that is to say that the time for diagnosis used to be an average of 6 years. 6 years for people to suffer with a strange set of symptoms, but all that pretty much led the same place: not being able to function in society, work, school, family, church. And that with these different lists and supporters, we've been able to help really narrow down for people what you can figure out in 15 minutes.
So imagine if we're able to, and our primary role is education. And one of the things that Kelly writes in the book is the best form of treatment is first education. Imagine with these videos that we could turn education into not just around Clearwater, but literally in Alaska or in a third world country. They could get the very top physicians talking about how to help patients and do that through the project that we're working on. So our hope is that we have this Khan Academy style web portal that delivers the sessions with ratings and chat available, and then people from all around the world can get that education for free.
Amazing resource, and it will also sadly replace a lot of the direct contact that we've had of people asking, but we will always be referring people to the Dysautonomiaproject.com. Again, you have to know how to spell dysautonomia, but it's DYSAUTONOMIA.com. Yeah, that was one of the harder things I've done today. I'm going to need some more coffee before the next one. So we've had some very small, somewhat homegrown events. We presented to churches and family gatherings.
Right.
We've tested out our lectures and information on each other and those who know Kelly and what used to be a small group of people that had been diagnosed and now has certainly grown because of the awareness. And that's really the thing, is the disease getting more pervasive, or do people have it more? Well, it used to be called, what did they refer to it as? Something soldiers, right?
Soldier's heart.
Mm-hmm. Soldier's heart. A long time ago. Then it's really not taught in medical school, not a diagnosis that people use frequently, to now where there's so much awareness around it that people are learning the terms, especially with POTS, and really being able to be a resource for one another. We really have had a ton of great events, but coming up this year, we are very excited, and it's very bittersweet to say that Angela and Kevin Hawkins have really taken a huge responsibility in our big event due to their daughter's symptoms and lack of response from a medical community, that they really reached far and wide to try to see what it was, and to come right back home down the street, literally from between the Freeman's house and my house, and be able to provide them with the support of handing them the book and saying, this might be what it is. So Angela and Kevin Hawkins and Crown Automotive are doing an event on October 5th that is above and beyond any kind of expectation, right?
Right.
You want to say anything about that, Kelly?
Why don't you start?
Yes, so this is the Under the Umbrella Gala that will be on October 5th at the Crown Mercedes.
At Crown Eurocars, right.
Yes, dealership. And I understand that they are transforming the area into a luxurious event space. And they have entertainment coming from Las Vegas, and just a great, I think is Krabby Bill's is helping to cater the event.
Yes.
And there's some other things I'm probably missing. But anyway, it's going to be an amazing time. It's probably going to be one of the largest events that we've done by far.
For sure. And I don't think we'll be hot gluing decorations like we have in the past. But all of that is to say how grateful we are for Angela and Kevin Hawkins and their Crown family for truly stepping in and supporting this mission and making it so much bigger than we could have possibly imagined. And again, we say that with total respect for their daughter and her symptoms that are slowly improving, but it really goes to show you how difficult it is. We have a village working together, and each of our patients take a lot of time to improve, but it's the support of them together that changes it, and the acknowledgement of someone being able to say, I know how you feel, which I don't know how Kelly's even available right now with so many people that need to talk to her about, is this how you felt and what do I do? But we're so grateful for that. Nate, do you want to talk about POTS 5K, Pi Day?
So we have a fundraiser that we started out 2 years ago, doing 5K for anyone that could, including patients if they were able to have a good day. And that will be coming up in the spring. It's called Pi Day after the memory of Christina Ternent. And so she was a math whiz, valedictorian, MIT student, and she has now passed. And so this is an event that, one, we respectfully remember the family and all that they meant to us. She had dysautonomia, and she did not have good doctor advice at the time, and it did not give her hope. So this event is about bringing hope back, and enabling us to fundraise and to do a great 5K. So we always have it around March 14th, which is the 3.14 is the part of pi. So if you're a math geek, you get those things.
We really like the number thing with 314 and 615, but no one forgets them.
That's right. And so that'll be coming up again, and we're crossing fingers for a new location that would be bigger and better, and we will see and announce that as soon as we have information.
And this day, from the least athletic person up here, this day is something that is really special to come and participate in any way. We always can take volunteers. There's always someone who needs a little bit of assistance. So even if it means sitting with someone, getting a patient to a quieter place, getting Gatorade or salty chips. We sometimes need that for runners and sometimes need that for patients. But it truly is a day where Christina's memory is honored, and in some, very strange way, her life was given for the rest of the people in dysautonomia world, as we call it, to go further and have hope. Their family has made so much available to everyone else, so dedicated, and really great fundraisers and friend raisers.
They're wonderful.
And still putting a smile on their face and showing up to be there even without their daughter. So we're so grateful for that. And I also love the March one because it's not that hot. So you can it might even be a little cool. So you can stand to be outside.
Yeah, you're only glowing.
Right.
You're
it's
not
just
pouring.
a little, because I don't want to really sweat. So we look forward to that and the new location, which we will gladly share on all of our social media as well as our website. In closing, anything else that you want to say about our journey here? It's amazing, remarkable, and with much gratitude that we've made it to a place where we need to be on a podcast, even if it's just sort of my own. It's mine now. Take it over.
Yes.
That's right. You're over. One thing. As you were describing what POTS stands for, do you remember when Emily, 8 years ago, she was, Emily is now our senior in high school at Largo IB. She would be running around the house and she'd be repeating the acronym POTS and then saying postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. She said it even better than I did. And she would say this over and over because she was so proud of being able to know this word while her mommy was sick. And little did we know that Kelly would spend nearly every day in bed for the next 7 years. And Kelly is an example of many that we have seen now that have hope that did not before. Emily does not run around talking about that word anymore because it's not an issue that we're having to deal with as a family because we have hope, we're doing education, we're seeing these fundraisers. And I just think about our daughter and how her whole life has changed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. None of us would have ever thought that it would come this far. I even remember this morning, super personal, when I was getting ready, I put on perfume and then I was like, oh God, no, Kelly, because
That's right.
There were times when the scent of someone's perfume could set Kelly back for 3 or 4 days. And there's people out there suffering. So when you're in that place that says no fragrance zone, you should maybe try, because it really does bother people a lot. Well, I can't thank you enough for being here. Thank goodness on the day that Dad and David Warner both decided to be on vacation, it was people I knew, because I'm not sure I would have had as much fun. I did want to let you all know, even though I showed you our new fancy home issue that's in your mailbox in a few more days. Next, we're on to my favorite issue, the holiday issue. And we will be doing our holiday gift guide. And we're looking to do something a little bit different or extra this year, where we're asking people to write into us and let us know what's their favorite gift to give. We're talking about giving still, not getting yet. But what's your favorite gift to give? Do you have a tradition that you always give? Are you looking for something new this year for a certain person, place, organization that you like to support? And so we're really hoping that people will write us on Facebook, because that's where I'll be checking, and let us know what you are planning to give this year. And if you are thoughtful enough to send us that message, you can add at the end what you're hoping to get. We're all certainly planning to have healthy people, a peaceful country, safe, green environment, all of those things. So you can go ahead and just hit the luxury living part of Tampa Bay and let us know what people really are getting this year for the holidays. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you next week on our DuPont Cast.
Thanks, Molly.